Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 18th of December, 2021. Coming up in the episode 159, the Crusty podcast, Reflections and Wishes. My thoughts and my wishes for all of you this festive season and what might lie ahead. All that and more come up the podcast. Please stick around. And remember, listener and viewer discretion is advised. Cheers.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And this beautiful festive season, yes, December 18th. Been working lots of hours. My wife has been working lots of hours. A lot of my friends working lots of hours, keeping their jobs and everything. And based on last week's episode, the last episode of the podcast, I talked about the Omicron and all that good stuff. And it's still lingering today, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't have a lot of facts and figures for you on this episode. However, I'm just going to give you some reflection because by the time I get more time to do another episode, it'll be the new year. So here we go. One big summarization of everything that we've seen this year. And I can summarize it as this: nothing but total BS, total crap from our leadership, from our medical experts, and from so-called authority figures that are looking out for your and my best interests. Yes. We all know how the routine's going. You know, it's got nothing to do with actual safety. It's got nothing to do with keeping us alive. It's about controlling and containing and, well, screwing us sideways, basically. That's the way I get it, you know. And from the people I have talked to over the past 6 months, especially in regards to all these different variants that have come and gone, first we had to worry about the Delta variant. Right. And they had to get people inoculated and get all this done and make sure that we have 80% of the population or 75% of the population inoculated. And now there's about 80% or more inoculated. Now we have this new variant. OK, so here's my reflection on this. It's all BS. It is. OK, nobody in their right mind is denying the fact that this virus is real. OK, no one is denying the fact that these issues were created in the lab, that these issues were created for the sake of fear, for whatever experiment. My best guess is this: someone created this, let it out to see what happens, and the powers that be are just overwatching to see what else they can do to screw with us, you and me. You, me, your neighbors, your friends, your family, all that good stuff, okay? And the politicians that are in charge of all these wonderful things and are trying to make this happen for us and who gave us CERB and CEBA payments and all that, even though a majority of people received it who didn't need it, right? And all this inflation and garbage, it's all been manufactured, okay? So my conclusion in that is simple. Something is in the works bigger than we can imagine. That's just my best guess, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be a conspiracy theorist with my tinfoil hat on and try to tell about the old, aliens and stuff or lizard people. But from what I've seen and the actions that have been taken to help people, it's supposed to help people. Okay. How many good people have been fined? How many pastors have been fined? How many religious experts have been fined? Now, you've heard me ramble on numerous times, ladies and gentlemen, here in the podcast, how I'm not a religious person, and I'm not. Okay. But I believe that everybody in this country, doesn't matter what faith they are, doesn't matter if they're Jewish, Muslim, if they're Christian, if they're Buddhist, if they're atheist, if they're agnostic, if they believe in the cow god, I don't care. Preach your gospel. You have every right to in this country to do so. Why not? But I have seen an overwhelming non-support towards Christians. And I've seen an overwhelming support towards authority figures. Interesting, eh? Now, of course, my background is military. I've dealt with a lot of authority figures in my career, in my job recently, but my employers aren't tyrants right now, you know. And I'm very, very thankful that I have the opportunity to work for them. And I work with some great people, and I work for some great people. So it's not a bad thing there. A little bit of authority here and there is not too bad. It's just when you see this overreaching hand of of governments handing out fines and tickets, this overreaching hand of people threatening you, do this or else, and then this big blast of encouragement now for people to get a booster in the name of this whole Omicron thing. You know the whole story, right? I've talked about this and I've talked about that. And, the whole Omicron issue has just got to stop. It does, right? Why? Have to get a third shot for the sake of
Omicron variant.
For what? Right? Are you going to kill your granny if you don't get it? I've seen a lot of grannies tell their kids, don't you bother getting those shots. So topsy-turvy, right? That's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. So part of my reflections of this past year is simple. We still got to stand our ground. We got to fight the good fight. So I encourage all those people out there, all those people, not a certain group, but people that protest, that stand up for what's right, to do what they can to put food on the table, look after their family and friends. Keep on doing it. Keep on trucking. You got my support, ladies and gentlemen, period. Okay? And what gets me in the news today, too, about all these different strains and different measures they want to put together in Ontario right now, okay, Mr. Ford and his infinite cheesecake wisdom, okay, wants to put more restrictions on because there's all these cases coming up. More cases. Now, they don't tell the general public that some of these cases are people that are actually just staying home and quarantining as they were told to almost 2 years ago. If you feel you have this or you do have it, stay at home, quarantine, see what happens. Hope for the best, right? Sit in your hands and wait for more bloody cheesecake. But now there's more panic being instilled. And especially this festive season where everybody in this country, everybody in my circle has had one hell of a time trying to get ahead and trying to get into a decent rut, try to get into the format again, trying to get back to work, trying to focus on their family and friends, on their longevity and livelihood. But now because of inflation, the cost of meat and the cost of gasoline, the cost of heating your home, because we're having some really nasty winter up here in the Great White North, my American listeners. And it's getting tough. It's getting tough again. And now Parliament has shut down for the Christmas season because, they only had to work 3.5 weeks to get another 6 weeks off. The perks of leadership. Yeah. Just pure fuckery at its finest.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And like I say, ladies and gentlemen, pure fuckery at its finest. I like that word a lot, fuckery. It goes up there with debauchery and dog fucking and wasting people's time, right? And one thing that taught me, one thing that I was taught this year, especially in regards to politics, it's just all talk, never any action. Only action when it comes to passing legislation to stop hurting people's feelings or legislation that's makes it easier on the criminals and harder on gun owners, right? Bill C5, for example. I'll leave a link in the description for you good people to follow and decide at your leisure, what it's all about. C5 basically is a bill that's going to be soft on thugs, meaning people that rob liquor stores, people that have illegal guns, people that do illegal things, first-time offenders, whatever. Their sentences are a little bit more lenient because of so-called marginalization, which is just a fucking crock, to be honest, right? That's basically how I sum it up, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're wondering about this little scar in my face here, okay, that came from the household cat we have. She likes to do little love bites while we sleep. So it speaks for itself, ladies and gentlemen. But needless to say, 'tis the season. So all I can say is do what you can to help each other at the best of your ability, right? I actually had a friend of mine today help me with a tire. I had a tire issue. I was coming home from work last night. And just as I left my employment, the warning light on my dashboard saying, driver's side tire, low pressure. So, okay, I get it. And I check it out. And the tire was off the rim. Holy shit skis, eh? Wow. So I had to park my truck at my job overnight, lock it up, keep her plugged in, and drag my poor friend to give me a hand to change the tires. So it was all changed. It was all good to go. But Little gestures like that go a long way, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, if you're listening, cheers, buddy. Thank you very much once again. And little things like that help. So if you do see someone in trouble, or you think someone's in trouble, offer assistance. Do what you can, ladies and gentlemen, in these trying times, especially this festive season. And it doesn't matter if you're religious or not, too, because we know the origins of Christmas date well back to the pagan holidays of winter solstice, where they celebrate the harvest. And we shall drink and dance and be merry to celebrate the food stocks we have for another season, right? So let us drink and dance and be merry and celebrate the food stocks we have this season. Celebrate the friend stocks and the love stocks and the lovers and the fighters we all embrace. Let us embrace the indifferences that we all face here, ladies and gentlemen, and hold those accountable for the next year. So, another thing too, ladies and gentlemen, please consider using the email you see at the bottom of your screen there. Write me a letter, write me an email, send me a question, whatever, and I'll try to read some of your emails on my next episode too. And we can go from there and try to keep the communication lines open too, which brings me to a individual who has a place called the Fork and Torch Society. Basically, they're freedom fighters, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to follow. Basically, they're freedom fighters. They have ways to help you challenge the unions, challenge the big bosses. They try to help you navigate the fuckery that we're all feeling today in regards to unions telling you where to go, well, what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, what to put in your body, what not to put in your body. And I've always understood unions as helping the little guy. But I guess some teachers' unions and medical unions out there just don't want to help the little guy. They want to help themselves and help certain profit margins, i.e. By the big ejaculation, faux pas, the inoculation companies out there that are trying to look after your best interest, when we both know that our leaders are making a few bucks on the side because of these contracts. Something to ponder.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And to all my YouTube subscribers out there too, please click like, subscribe. Well, all my subscribers, please click like and subscribe and share this content at your social media platforms today too. And just a reminder to my YouTube viewers and subscribers there, please double check to see if you're still subscribed or not. I've actually had a couple emails in regards saying, oh, we missed your last 3 episodes, or we didn't know we were unsubscribed. So please, just to keep double checking that, ladies and gentlemen. And you can also find me on Brighton, Wimkin, and also on Rumble too, ladies and gentlemen. Just follow the descriptions there too. Rumble does a great service getting subscribers there. So please, if you don't want to subscribe on the old-fashioned YT, you can always check me out on Rumble, Brighton, and Wimkin as well. And I'm also expanding out there as well too. And like I say, folks, if you like to hear what you see, please click like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and send me some comments to help the algorithm out. Help us independent folk get our words out there too. So, and if you're interested in some Gucci kit that I do have, please check me out, my shop at customizedgirl.com/s/Crusty Canuck. I have some lovely items, such as this t-shirt. And I also have mugs too. And I also have some hats, swimsuits, other styles of t-shirts. I have a jacket. You can buy pins, magnets. So please check out the shop. You can get yourself a nice Crusty Canuck mug or a Crusty Canuck t-shirt at your leisure too. You know, nothing wrong with some Crusty Canuck swagger in your closet or your wardrobe. Anyway, carrying on, get more reflections and wishes. Some of the wishes I do have consist of this. Now, people say the old myth, oh, don't tell about your wishes because they'll never come true. Well, it's not a matter of them coming true. It's a matter of them being factual. I wish the best for people. Okay. I wish for liberty. I wish for freedom. I wish for people just to carry on their lives and not worry about little things like the ridiculous
Omicron variant.
Right. And just to be alive, just to be thankful, to hug your kids, to hug your loved ones, to hug your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, whoever you want to call your number one. those wishes, I think, are pretty substantial enough. You know, I could sit here and talk about, let's end world hunger. Let's end world wars. Let's end this. Let's have peace around the globe. Well, yeah, a lot of us would like peace. But there's a lot of people that are calling the shots in our lives right now that don't want that kind of peace. They want peace of control, and they want a piece of you here and a piece of you there. They want a piece of them here and a piece of those there. So it's self-explanatory. So when it comes to all this BS, when it comes to the different variants and different bugs, don't buy it. Question it. Okay? Science wouldn't be science if you didn't question certain alternatives and certain facts. Okay? And those individuals out there that happen to be listening or watching this podcast right now, and if you think that the upper hand of the law is always a good thing without question, then maybe you should question your own scruples and your own character. Okay? Maybe you should question your ability to lead or your ability to do, rather than you dictating to me or your neighbors or calling some 800 number saying, they're outside gallivanting and they're not social distancing. What do I do? Right? Instead of being a tattle and being a rat, contribute something. Right? There's some logic for you. That's some of the wishes I have there, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to this past couple of years of this whole beer bug fiasco. And not to mention the fiasco of our leadership and the fiasco of our economy in both of our countries, Canada and the United States, respectively. Okay. And ridiculous mandates when it comes to these individuals getting paid the big bucks to dictate what you and I should do. Okay. My friends in Ontario, we've been talking back and forth in regards to just the ridiculous rules and regulations and turncoat politicians and turncoat leaders and turncoat medical experts, right? I never claimed to be a medical expert, ladies and gentlemen, but common sense should prevail. Okay. Those individuals that received inoculations and followed the rules and walked the line and wore the masks and everything, you're now being told that we have to constantly think about a booster. Okay. So the booster is going to help us, even though the first two didn't help anybody, based on the science that's come out in the name of, the whole new
Omicron variant.
Right. Here's my sound medical advice that I actually received from a medical doctor. Take some vitamin C pills, take some vitamin D, take some zinc. Try to exercise in moderation. Now, my job keeps me active 10 hours out of the day. So I'm in and out of a truck, checking this, checking that. So I'm mobile. So yeah, I'm getting pretty active too. Some cases of the job, I'm actually shoveling grain and shoveling corn. So I'm pretty active in that job. And I try to eat right to the best of my ability, and I try to look after things as they should. Now, I'm still guilty of smoking cigarettes. Oh, shit. But still, I try to keep a level head and try to keep sane and use something called common sense, something that our leaders forget to use. But hey, I digress. One of my other wishes this year, too, is that we have to do our best to get along. Okay? So those individuals out there that constantly talk about race and talk about gender and all this so-called inequality, do a better job and get your fucking homework done. Okay? Get your homework done. Now, during my campaign, when I was out talking to people and all that, like I said, there were two ladies that talked about how they were not hired because of their gender. And I came to the conclusion that it wasn't because of their gender, it was because of their attitude. That sense of entitlement. Don't ever think you're entitled to magical things just because you are something or you represent something or you're part of this group or you're part of that group. Okay. Now I'm advertising I'm part of a group here. Yes, I'm a veteran and I'm entitled to veterans benefits because of my status, because of my injury on the job, and because of my time served. That's turning into a real poop show in some cases because I'm never getting any proper correspondence back. I've been through about maybe 6 different case managers since I left the service, and I've been out since 2018. So it's been 3.5 years and different case managers. So what's going on? Not to mention some other stories I've heard from other vets and some of the BS paperwork they've had to rewrite and submit and read and write and submit time and time again. But if you're an individual, let's say you gone to university and you're in debt. Okay, what are you going to do to pay off that debt? I know that some of my friends down in the States have given me insight and stories about that AOC, Miss Cortez, who claims to be $17,000 in the hole because she went to school. And yet she's earning a paycheck anywhere from $170,000 to $175,000 a year. And you can't pay that off, Miss Cortez? What gives, As a Canadian looking in, I think some of my American friends would understand that, Miss Cortez, you're a dizzy cow. You know what you're talking about. And if you borrow something from somebody, you generally give it back. Doesn't matter if it's a chainsaw, a hockey stick, a baseball bat, a Luger, or cash. Right? Isn't that the consensus? Were we not taught this as children? That if you borrow something from someone, you look after it and you give it back. So if you borrow a ton of cash from somebody, i.e. an institution, a bank, or the local shark down the effing road, you bloody well pay it back.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
I think my point is clear there, ladies and gentlemen. People who get mortgages, in a way, you're borrowing money to buy a home. So you pay the mortgage and you pay off that home, right? It's same thing with car loans. Okay. You need that car. You're doing your best to keep the bills paid, and you have to pay so much a month based on what you borrow and what the interest rate at that time is. Same thing with student loans. And I have no sympathy. I really don't. I can understand if someone's in a bind and in trouble. Great. But if you sign the paperwork at 18 years of age, by law, you are legally an adult. You can make your own decisions because you can take hormones to become a girl if you want to, or you can take hormones to become a guy if you want to, or you can sign paperwork to get yourself some tuition, to get an education in whatever field, whether it's rocket science or basket weaving or feminist dance theory, whatever courses are out there. And you pay the money back. Okay. What you do with your life is your decision. And with those decisions come the actions and the consequences of said decisions. And that every adult goes through that. You're no different. But if you're demanding that the government or some institution forgets your loan because you can't find a job in said educational field that you disciplined in or you pursued, then that's on you to figure out. Okay. Do you think the banks would be sympathetic with you if you were paying a certain amount every month for your mortgage and you lost your job because of the strain? Now, there's a reality there, right? I'm just trying to make a point there, ladies and gentlemen, that if you take something and you borrow something from someone, you bloody well give it back. Okay? So one of my wishes is that more adults, especially in the leadership position, in Canada, United States, and Britain, and everywhere else in the free world, owns their shit, takes responsibility for what they say, and takes responsibility for what they promote, just like everybody else. Right? As far as I'm concerned, everyone's entitled to free speech. It doesn't matter how offensive it may be or not, or how hateful or how demoralizing it may seem to be. That's all perspective. That's all a construct. That's the big word. Construct. Yeah. Right? Nowhere in my show have I said I hated any certain group of people other than wankers and idiots that waste our bloody time. Nowhere in my show have I ever said anything racist to anybody. I've been accused of that, right? Because a lot of people just don't like liberty. A lot of people don't like democracy. They want to be controlled and told what to do because they have faith in those people. Yay, please. Oh, please give me a handout. Give me $1,200 a month so I can feel special and not go to work again. Where do you think that money comes from, ladies and gentlemen? It comes from people like you and me that pay our taxes every year. And I actually just sat and did the math there a couple of days back when I got home from work. I actually just figured out, based on what I earn, how much taxes I'm paying roughly a month based on my income. And it works out to about $26,000 to $27,000 a year that go to taxes and other programs. based on what and that's quite a bit of change. That $26,000 to $27,000 I could use for other things. But because we live in a democratic state and you have to pay your taxes, yes, and to help those roads get built, help those solar-powered freezers in the Arctic get built, and those wind turbines and those solar panels in northern Alberta get built, that money, yeah, self-explanatory, isn't it? Total buffoonery, folks. So my wish is this, that people take responsibility for their shit and own it. And I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care if you're a lawyer. I don't care if you're a feminist dance instructor. Own your shit. There's things I've done in my life, and I have confessed here, ladies and gentlemen, the podcast in previous episodes, some of the sins I have committed. And I've owned it, and I own every one of them, and I still will to this day. And if I do get elected to public office, let's say in the next election, then I'll still own it then too, regardless of how much you're getting paid or not. It's part of being an adult. One of the things we got to focus on is being good to people and do what we have to do to get along. And if it means we got to fight the good fight, so be it. Okay? So be it. And that's just that simple. Other wishes I have is that we try to find the truth in reconciliation. We do our best to find the truth, always, from all sides. It doesn't matter what the church did here, what the church did there, what the government did here, what the government did there, what certain people did there, what certain people did over here. It doesn't matter. Finding the truth. That's another wish I have. So my First Nation listeners out there, I got your six. I want to know the truth too. Right? We got to stop finger wagging. We got to stop this finger wagging BS too. Because one of my wishes is, like I said, these adults take responsibility for their garbage and stop wagging the finger. Because I'll be curious to see how many politicians are going to go traveling abroad this festive season, this Christmas year. How many are going to be caught in Barbados or Hawaii or Ireland or Africa or anywhere else for that matter, for the sake of, safety, right? So we got to hold these people in question, right? And when it comes to our mainstream media too, we have to ask them the tough questions too. So harass them with emails, harass them with questions, comment on their pages that they allow it, right? Let's stand up for free speech, especially my American listeners and my Canadian listeners. Stand up for free speech, period. All right? And who cares if people say, well, there's consequences if you say this. Well, of course there's consequences. But you don't have to fire somebody. You don't have to publicly shame somebody because they have an opinion. If someone says something racist, then you chastise that person. You give them a hard time. You don't erase them or cancel them. Oh, my goodness. Right? You got to stop being afraid. Okay? Stop following the so-called leaders because half these guys couldn't lead a crap to a toilet.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, more of Reflections and Wishes, episode 159 of the Crusty Canuck podcast. I'm your host, Crusty, and I'll just remind you all again, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. Share this all around your social media platform, and don't forget to comment too. Help the comments out there, especially on the bigger channels. But you can also find me on Rumble, Brighton, and Wimkin too, ladies and gentlemen. Just follow the banner at the bottom there. Rumble, Brighton, and Wimkin. I load the episodes there too. I'm not sure if I'll be doing a live episode this week. I've got some constraints in regards to the festive season. We've got commitments to go see some friends. So there might not be a live episode, but pay attention to my Facebook page and YouTube page for updates on that too in the next couple of days. It might come at you last minute, but please consider joining me for a live stream. The last one was successful. I appreciate everyone who came out to say hello. How you doing, Crusty? Everything's good. But please consider subscribing nonetheless and pay attention to my updates on the YouTube page and my Facebook page, respectively, too. I'm also getting some more traffic on my Instagram. And I just want to tell the individuals that say hello to me on Instagram, I'm not into sex and I don't want your product. And I'm a married man, so please stop propositioning me. I don't go there. Right? I'm loyal to my wife because she's my number one and she's the best thing that's ever happened to me since ever. So sorry, I'm not going to bend and play your little game. I'll just delete you. But I'll be putting some more stuff on Instagram there too in the near future. However, I will be persevering nonetheless too. So, but if you want to send me an email, folks, please consider that too. Just at the bottom of your screen there in the outline of the red and the white. CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. Send me an email. Send me your thoughts. I'd love to hear it. And I'll read it on the show next time too. And I'll leave a link to the Fork and Torch Society as well too. Individual who reached out to me and just said if I could advertise. And I said, sure, why not? So I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to follow too. A well-read individual who put it together, and he's out there to help people. So I'll make sure that the link is there for you to follow, and you can ask him whatever you need to know about fighting some of the corporate conglomerates that are stopping people from earning a good living, right? So, like I say, please like, subscribe, and comment, all that good stuff. And we're carrying on more of the festive season. Nothing is more satisfactory to me than seeing a kid's face light up on Christmas Day. I have witnessed that with my nieces and my nephews, and it is quite a good feeling. And I highly recommend, ladies and gentlemen, if you know any families out there in your immediate area that need a hand, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to throw an extra $10, $20 into something, or a gift or a meal, because there are a lot of people there that are struggling, and there's a lot of pride out there too. So there's a lot of people that won't accept it. They might, they won't. Might take some convincing, but do what you can. I've given a couple of charities so far with the money I've been making. It's not much, but I do what I can too, and that $10 might even get a kid a nice toy or something that he or she wanted, or help with purchasing something like that. So every little bit helps. Let's just do what you can and try to be considerate and stop living in fear. Okay. We got to stop living in fear. That's not the Canada that I grew up in, and that's not the Canada I want to stay in either. And I will fight for this country, and I will fight for the freedom and the sovereignty this country represents. And if it means I have to do it internally, then so be it, ladies and gentlemen. But it starts with our dialogues. Get the conversations going. Open things up and discuss. And stop worrying about the finger wagging and the name calling, right? If someone has to keep calling you racist and misogynist because you speak your mind, then they're afraid, not you. They're the ones that are afraid. And keep promoting that. Keep promoting their fear, using against them, right? Let's stop worrying about who said what or who wore what. Let's stop worrying about who's big or small, or who's fat or who's ugly. Who gives a shit? Let's start worrying about each other as the way we should. Okay? We can do better, folks. It's that simple, And when I reflect more on this year, just the amount of 180s that some people have done in the name of looking after your safety. They wouldn't give you a call prior to the pandemic, unless they wanted something, but they're the first ones to rat on you when you weren't walking the magical line, right? So we got to put it into that too. Another one of my wishes, ladies and gentlemen, this year is let us find the light in this manufactured darkness. Let us bring the light. Let's be the light bringers. We don't have to be Christians or Jewish or Muslims or Buddhists or Sikhs or anybody. We just got to be human beings again, right? Live and let live policy, a proper live and let live policy where we just carry on and just do our thing to the best of our abilities. And some people might have to work harder. Some people might have to work longer. Some people might have to put an extra effort into it. And so be it. That's life. That's life. All I can say is that we can do better, because I know we can. I do believe in a decent society where people can just do their thing and not worry about any kind of persecution and prosecution, or any kind of Carls and Karens wagging their finger and pointing at them, screaming at the high notes. Just carry the fuck on and enjoy ourselves. But every day we have to do what we can to help each other at the best of our abilities. It's that simple. Right? And regardless if so-and-so says this to you or so-and-so says that to you, who gives a shit? Okay? There's a lot of angry people out there, and rightfully so. A lot of hurt people out there, and rightfully so. A lot of disenfranchised people of all colors and creeds. Not just one group or two groups, but I think a lot of people. People that want to go to work and pay their bills. People that want to show kindness. People that just want to be themselves. And there's a constant scrutiny of who's not walking the magical line or not. Fuck the line. Bloody well create your own.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And of course, this week, ladies and gentlemen, I do not have a recipient for the Canadian Polar Vortex of bullshit, but it wouldn't be right if I did not play the theme tune. So ready? Brace yourselves.
The Canadian Polar Vortex of bullshit.
No recipients for this episode, but I just had to play it for shits and giggles nonetheless, because I've had a few comments where people say, oh, you should do one every episode, keep it consistent and all this. And it's like, well, I don't have a lot of time in the day to constantly pick a candidate. My last episode's candidate was Miss Freeland. We all remember her, the so-called, deputy prime minister who thinks her shit don't stink and all this good stuff. And well, she doesn't take responsibility for any of her BS. You know what I mean? So that just speaks for itself, right? But, there's a picture of her there too. Isn't she just pretty? Oh, look at her. Isn't she just divine? Yeah. Yeah, not a chance, right? Not a bloody chance. So.
I'm so happy I could just shit.
Yeah, I bet you could. Excuse me. But like I say, reflections and wishes this year, ladies and gentlemen. Reflect on their past, learn from the past, but don't hold on to it. I have some trouble with that too in some cases, but I do my best to persevere. And it's because of you, my audience, my listeners out there, and some of the warmest regards that I have received the past week have been sensational and fantastic. And it's because of people like you. That's right. All yous out there that have said wonderful things to me. Thank you. You're one of the reasons why I keep carrying on and doing this podcast, right? I'm a veteran, Canadian point of view, and I'll do my best to be as honest as possible with you all. That's my oath, and that's my promise to you, right? But in the meantime, I'm going to keep commenting. I'm going to keep criticizing the powers that be and the status quo and trying to find light at the end of this manufactured darkness. I know I've been saying that a lot, but that's probably a catchphrase I might put in a t-shirt. I don't know. But until then. So, needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas to you all out there. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah to my Jewish listeners and Jewish friends. Happy winter solstice to my pagan friends. Anyway, happy days ahead. I wish nothing but good things to all the good people out there. I wish you all the best in the new year. And we can do better, my friends and my family and my listeners out there. We can do better. We can. But on our means, on our own rules and our own lines. Okay? Liberty is good. Democracy is good. It's not perfect, but it's great. Beats socialism, beats communism, right? And question the status quo. Question it. You can do it politely and calmly with proper dialogue. And when push comes to shove, then stand ready, my friends. Stand ready. Like I say, I wish nothing but great things to all of you out there this festive year. To all the little kids, all the young families, all the older families, all colors, all creeds. Let's celebrate this year, celebrate the winter solstice as it should. Let us drink and dance and be merry. Anyway, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 18th of December, 2021. I say again, Merry Christmas to you all and all the best for the new year. Do what you can to help each other out in these trying times, ladies and gentlemen. And we will overcome these obstacles. Like I say, please send me an email, crustybcanuck67@gmail.com. Questions, queries, statements, hell, even send me your hate mail if you want to. And I'll gladly read it and put it on display for all my listeners out there to see and hear. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, do what you can to help each other out in these trying times. And remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Once again, Merry Christmas. All the best in the next year. And take care of yourselves. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.